Come on, we've all done it, right? Told a little white lie just to be polite. But what if there was an instant, unavoidable, and, well, a very visible consequence for every single one? Yeah, let's dive in and see what that world would actually look like. Okay, so picture this. A whole world built on just one simple, fascinating rule. What if, just like Pinocchio, your nose literally grew every single time you lied? I'm not just talking about the big ones, I mean all of them. Your face would betray you in an instant. Can you even imagine? There'd be absolutely nowhere to hide. All right, so before we get into the really wild consequences, let's just lay down the one fundamental rule of this world. It's super simple, but believe me, it changes absolutely everything. Yeah, we're gonna call this the Pinocchio Effect. And here's the most important part. There are 0 exceptions. A tiny little fib to your friend about their, questionable new haircut, boom, your nose grows. A massive world-changing deception, you guessed it, your nose grows. It just becomes an instant biological fact of life, kind of like breathing. Okay, let's start small. Let's bring this into our own lives and just see how it builds from there. I mean, how would this kind of total transparency change your day-to-day, your relationships, even your most basic social interactions? Well, for starters, childhood would be completely different. Just think about it for a second. The classic, did you do your homework? Or, hey, who broke the vase? Suddenly, those questions get answered instantly and honestly. Parents, teachers, they wouldn't need to be detectives anymore. They'd have the ultimate foolproof lie detector built right into every kid's face. And what about our personal lives? I mean, dating would become, wow, brutally honest, right? Just imagine a first date. The question comes up, so, did you have a good time? You couldn't just be polite if the answer was no. Every little social nicety, every white lie we tell to spare someone's feelings, gone. Impossible. Your relationships would have to be built on this foundation of just radical honesty, right from minute one. Okay, so that's the personal stuff. But now let's zoom way out. Let's look at the entire fabric of society. If every single one of us is a walking lie detector, how would that completely upend our most important institutions? I mean, just look at how simple that after column is. Courtrooms transformed overnight. That whole long process, gathering evidence, cross-examining witnesses, relying on hours and hours of testimony, all of it would pretty much become obsolete. You just ask the defendant, did you do it? And watch their face. Justice wouldn't be about who has the slickest lawyer anymore. It would just be about who's telling the truth, period.
And the impact on politics? Oh, it would be just as dramatic. Imagine it. Campaign promises, political debates, press conferences, every single statement would be instantly verifiable. Voters could literally see who was being truthful. Finding the most honest politician? It wouldn't be a challenge anymore. No more guesswork, no more persuasive speeches. It would just be a simple visual check. Spin would be totally impossible.
So when you put it all together, the personal, the social, the big institutions, you're left with a world that's governed by a brand new, totally inescapable rule. And this right here, this is the bottom line. In a world where every single lie has an immediate and visible consequence, truth becomes the only way to operate. Honesty isn't just the best policy anymore, it would be the only policy. It stops being some virtue you try to live up to. It becomes a fundamental law of social physics, just as real and as unavoidable as gravity. At the end of the day, a thought experiment like this really forces us to look at our own relationship with the truth. So let's make this personal. I'm turning this question over to you. I want you to really, truly think about it for a second. In this crazy world we've just described, what moment from your past would have totally given you away? What's the one lie, big or small, that would have been written all over your face for everyone to see? Seriously, we really want to know. What's the biggest lie you've ever told? And in this Pinocchio world, how long do you think your nose would be by now? Go ahead and let us know down in the comments.